Welcome back. We are now going to look at budgets, that thing that we need to do but never get to. A budget is a plan on how you're going to spend your money. This is a vital role player if you want to have a healthy financial status. There are several things that you should aim for in your personal budget. Those are to make a list of all your expenses, make sure all your expenses are listed, and that you make room for unforeseen expenses. And then it should be realistic so that you can stick to it. Make sure all your needs are catered for first before you go to your wants. And then always leave some money to have some fun. So, what is an ideal budget? An ideal budget should include a plan to save money for the future, or at least to pay off debts to allow for savings in the following months. Remember, the richer you want to be, the less debt you need to have. It should be balanced. If your income is less than your expenses, you'll need to cut some of your expenses. Always remember to live within your income. If your income is more, that means there's room for spending. There is room for saving. We always want to spend. If we look at the format of a budget, you will see that it's a table with two columns. Your income is on the left-hand side and your expenses on the right. But what is in it? The first thing is you list all your income. If it's a household, there will be a salary for the husband and a salary for the wife if she's working. Then you'll calculate the total and list the total income. And after that, we go on to expenses. Remember not to leave out an expense. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to balance it. So you list all your expenses, fixed expenses like rent, variable expenses like groceries, and then you calculate the total expenses. And now this is where reality hits. Do I have enough money to get by this month? So there I will say my income minus my expenses, and that will give me money left over. Please remember that a budget is not what happened. It's a plan. So you can't say profit for a household. It's money that's left, either to save or to spend on something nice if you didn't make provision for it in your budget. If we look at the budget of the Sitole family, on the left-hand side, you can see Mr. Sitole earns 15,000 Rand a month. Mrs. Sitole is earning 17,000 Rand a month. And then John, their son, contributes 1,000 Rand a month. So their total income is 33,000 Rand. The fixed expenses is their bond, a car payment, insurance policy, and school fees. Variable expenses, groceries, entertainment, fuel or transport, water and electricity, and then you'll see that expenses is 10,700 Rand, and money left over for savings or a holiday would be 22,300 Rand. So we studied it now. Let's look at some general questions. Is John still attending school? Now, how do we know that? We know John will be attending school if they made provision for school fees. So yes, he is attending school because there is school fees. Remember not to answer a simple yes or no. but give a reason when you decide whether it's a yes or a no. What is the difference between fixed expenses and variable expenses? This is a very important question. Look at the question. What is the difference between fixed expenses and variable expenses? So they just want us to say fixed expenses, same amount every month, variable expenses, different amount every month, instead of calculating the fixed and the expenses and then deducting it. So what they want here is you had to say fixed, same amount every month like the bond, and then variable would be fuel, and that is how you will attempt a question like that. Explain how the Sithole family can fine-tune their budget. Now, a question like that usually goes to savings. They can definitely save, and I think they can perhaps let John pay a little bit less. What do you think? So now, the party mode. That is where we are now. Budget for parties. Remember, when you budget for an occasion or a party, it is different from a household budget, but the same stuff still apply. When you plan a party, it is very important to first come up with the total amount that you are willing to spend. After you establish the amount that you are willing to spend, make a list of all the people you want to invite. Then split your budget up into categories like the venue, the caterer, decor, DJ, and so on. It depends on what type of party. So John's birthday party, let's look at that. John's birthday party, he will be spending 6,000 Rand. Where did he get it from? His mother, 5,000, and his grandma, 1,000. Then food, on the expenses side, he is spending 80 Rand per person, so that is 1,600. Then there's cold drinks, decor, music. Total expenses is 4,900, and then the money left over is 1,100. Study the budget and answer the following questions. How many people will be attending John's party? Now remember, he's planning on spending 1,600 Rand on the food. So we will say 1,600 divided by the price, 80 Rand per person, and that is then 20 people. What is his grandma's contribution to the party as a percentage? Now remember, the total is 6,000 and grandma is giving 1,000 of that 6,000 times 100 to get a percentage, and that is then 16.67%. And the last question, John realized there is money left over and decided to invite more people. How many more people can he invite? Now remember, there was money left over of 1,100 Rand. So he said he'll take the 1,100 and divide it at the cost per person, which is 80, and that gives him an answer of 13.75. Now again, there's rounding needed because it's people and people are whole numbers. He cannot invite 14. He can't invite 15, but especially not 14, because he can't say, okay, John, you can come, but you're only allowed 75% of the food. So therefore, he will invite 13 people. And that brings us at the end of the lesson. I hope you tune in soon. Goodbye.